Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast.
We're breaking down the manga, chapter by chapter. Today, we're on chapter 26, Captain Kuro Plan.
And what a plan it is. We talk a lot about Luffy punching his way through problems, but this chapter is about a problem you can't punch. It's about a boy screaming the truth in a town that taught him to lie, and nobody listening while the pirates sharpen their blades. It's the kind of chapter that gets right under your skin.
It's the perfect trap, built not from steel but from reputation, a psychological cage where the truth is the one key that doesn't work.
Exactly. This is the kind of storytelling that makes you want to follow a series for decades. If you're riding this wave with us, make sure your podcatcher knows it. Pin our show to the top of your feed so you never miss the dawn of a new chapter. Let's get into it.
We open on the coast with Klahadore and the strange man from last chapter, Django. The atmosphere is immediately different from the polite Butler we've known. The mask is off.
And right away the facade cracks. Klahadore tells Django, "Don't call me Captain Kuro." The name just hangs in the air. You can feel the history in it. Most pirates, they wear their names like a crown. Captain Buggy, Iron Mace Alvida. Luffy introduces himself as the man who will be king of the pirates. This guy, he's trying to bury his own legend. It's just wrong.
It speaks to a deep self-loathing, or perhaps an even deeper arrogance. He doesn't want the name because he feels he has transcended it. He sees the Captain Kuro persona as a tool he has since discarded, like a workman putting away a bloody hammer.
A bloody hammer is right. Up on the cliffs, Usopp and Luffy are spying, and that name, Kuro, clicks for Usopp. It's not just a name, it's a horror story.
He remembers Captain Kuro of the Black Cat Pirates, a man who was supposedly captured and executed by the Marines 3 years. The name itself brings back stories of a deeply feared pirate known for raiding town after town.
3 years. That's a very specific number, isn't it? It's exactly how long Klahadore has been serving Kaya's family. Oda doesn't do coincidences like that. This isn't just some random butler with a dark past. This is a long, deliberate, patient con. Every polite yes miss, every cup of tea he served, every moment of kindness was a lie, a move on a chessboard only he could see.
And this raises an interesting question, doesn't it? The world believes Kuro is dead. The Marines announced his execution. This is our first real hint that the information the world receives from the world government and the Marines might not be the complete truth. It's a small seed of institutional fallibility that will grow into a very large tree later in the story.
That's a super good point. We just take it for granted that the news is the news. But here, the official story is a complete fabrication, and it's being used as the cornerstone of a pirate's master plan.
And Django lays out just how patient it's been. He talks about how Kuro just got bored from being a pirate captain, faked his death, and settled into this quiet life.
Bored. That's the part that gets me. That word is so insulting to everything we know about the Grand Line, about adventure. This isn't a guy who saw the error of his ways. He didn't have a change of heart. He just got tired of the chase, tired of his crew, tired of the Marines. So he decided to build a new life by meticulously planning to steal one instead. It's the ultimate act of selfish laziness.
It's a very particular kind of evil. It's born not of ambition for a grand title or a legendary treasure. It's the evil of apathy. He saw the life of a pirate, the constant planning, the risk, the need to manage his underlings, and deemed it all tedious. His solution was to engineer one final, perfect plan that would set him up for life with zero risk.
A retirement plan from hell.
Exactly. The plan itself is just cold. Django is to hypnotize Kaya into signing a will that leaves her entire fortune to Klahadore. The moment the ink is dry, Django's orders are to kill her.
And not just kill her. Kuro is specific, without making it look like murder. He wants the money, the mansion, and the clean reputation. He wants to have his cake and eat it too, and the cake is baked with the blood of an entire village. He's not just stealing her wealth, he's stealing her legacy, her home, and her life, all while positioning himself to be the grieving noble inheritor.
The sheer audacity is what's so striking. Django almost seems to find it funny. He mocks him, saying, a real pirate would just raid the mansion and take what they want. Isn't that the pirate way?
Which is what you'd expect. That's the buggy way, the Alvida way. Smash and grab, announce your presence, take the loot, and sail away laughing. But Kuro is different. He corrects him with this chilling calm. He says that would make him a pirate again, and he wants a peaceful life.
Okay, but think about what this means. His definition of a peaceful life is predicated on mass murder. The next step of the plan is to have Django and the rest of the Black Hat pirates, who are arriving at dawn, kill everyone in the village. Every man, woman, and child. So there are no witnesses. No one to question how the pirate attack that killed poor Kaya also happened to leave her devoted butler as the sole heir.
He's not trying to escape his past, he's trying to perfect it. He wants the rewards of piracy, the wealth, the power, with none of the risk or the title. He wants to be a king in a silent kingdom of ghosts. That's a level of chilling, calculated evil we haven't seen yet. Morgan was a tyrant, but he was a blunt instrument. Buggy is a showman. Kuro is a serpent.
He even mentions that Kaya's parents dying was unexpected. He says it was an accident that sped up his timeline. I don't believe that for a second.
Not a chance. With a guy this meticulous, unexpected just means ahead of schedule. Or more likely, he's lying to Django. He probably orchestrated their deaths himself and is just maintaining his cover. A fall down the stairs, a sudden illness. With 3 years inside that house, he had endless opportunities to seem like the caring butler while being the calculating killer.
It retroactively paints every interaction we've seen with him in this horrifying light. Every moment he was chastising Usopp for being a bad influence, he was actually eliminating a potential threat to his plan. He wasn't protecting Kaya's health, he was isolating his target.
And all the while, Usopp is up on the cliff, hearing every last word of this. The kind butler who's been looking after the girl he loves, the man he's had a rivalry with, is actually a ghost, a monster planning to destroy everything and everyone he holds dear.
You can see the progression of emotions on his face panel by panel. Confusion, disbelief, dawning horror, and then pure, undiluted terror. His entire world has been a lie, and he was the only one too close to see it.
You can feel his world just shattering, but he's got a bigger problem right next to him, a rubber problem named Monkey D. Luffy.
Who, of course, hasn't been listening to a single word of the murder plot. He has a unique talent for filtering out important exposition.
Not one bit. He was probably thinking about what's for dinner or wondering if that rock over there looked like a piece of meat. So while Usopp is having this life-altering, terrifying revelation, what does Luffy do? He just stands up on the edge of the cliff, in plain sight of the two pirates planning a massacre, and just shouts down at them, "Hey, what are you guys doing?"
He just yells at the two pirates planning a massacre below. His timing is, as always, both perfect and catastrophic.
It is the single most Luffy thing he could have possibly done. Absolutely zero sense of subtlety, zero awareness of the danger. He just sees two guys talking and decides to say hi. It's hilarious, and it's also the worst possible thing that could have happened. My heart just sank into my stomach reading that. You're screaming at the page, "Luffy, no!"
Usopp panics, of course. He does the only sane thing and tackles Luffy to pull him down, but it's too late. The damage is done. Kuro and Django look up and see them. The secret is out.
The plan is blown, the secrecy is gone, and Django, without missing a beat, pulls out that ring on a string he has. It's such a weird weapon.
It's not just a weapon. He starts swinging it back and forth like a pendulum. 1, 2, Django. And we get the reveal of his power. He's a hypnotist.
The art here is great. You see the rings radiate out from it, this visual representation of his power washing over the cliffside. Usopp is smart enough to immediately look away. His instincts scream that this is bad news. But Luffy, oh, Luffy, he just stares right at it. He's probably thinking, ooh, a shiny circle.
His curiosity and complete lack of self-preservation are a potent combination. And he's out, just like that. His eyes go blank, he gets that dopey smile on his face, and he's asleep on his feet.
And so is Django. The man hypnotized himself. It's such a perfect Oda gag in the middle of this intense, terrifying moment. He's presented as this powerful, mysterious threat, the key to Kuro's Kuro's entire plan, and he's also a complete doofus who gets taken out by his own attack. It's brilliant. It keeps the tone from getting too oppressively grim.
It's funny for a second, but then the reality of the situation hits like a tidal wave. Luffy, completely limp and asleep, just teeters on the edge of the cliff and falls.
He just drops straight down onto the rocky shore below. There's this horrible, silent panel of him just plummeting. Usopp screams. For all he knows, he just watched his new friend, the strongest guy he's ever met, the one person who could physically stand up to these monsters, fall to his death.
From Usopp's perspective, his only hope just vanished. He is now completely and utterly alone against a legendary pirate captain and his hypnotist first mate. Down below, Kuro and a waking Django look over the situation. Django, rubbing his head, asks if they should go up and kill the other one. Kill Usopp.
But Kuro, man, this guy's arrogance is on another level. It's almost a tangible force. He just dismisses him. He says, let him run. Let him tell the village. Because he knows. He knows nobody will ever believe the town liar.
That's the real poison here. That's the masterstroke of his 3-year plan. Kuro's entire plan is protected by Usopp's own reputation. He has weaponized Usopp's past against him. He didn't just embed himself in the town, he studied its social dynamics. He identified its weak points, and Usopp's credibility is the weakest point of all.
It's brutal. It's the ultimate checkmate. Usopp has the truth, the one weapon that can save everyone, and Kuro has made it completely useless before the fight has even begun. He's telling Usopp, go ahead. Your greatest weapon is a dud. I broke it years before you ever tried to fire it. It's so cruel.
So Usopp does the only thing he can. He runs. He sprints with a terror and a purpose we've never seen from him. He runs past Nami and Zoro, who have no idea what's happening. He can't even stop to explain. Every second counts. He runs past his own little crew, the
Usopp pirates.
Right, the Usopp pirates. He screams at them to run for their lives, but he doesn't have time to explain why. He just has to get to the village square.
And he does what he's done every morning for years. He runs through the main street and he shouts the familiar words. The pirates are coming!
But this time, it's real. This time there's no punchline. The cadence is the same, but the heart behind it is filled with genuine, gut-wrenching fear. This time, the fate of everyone he's ever known depends on them believing him.
And they don't. Of course they don't. They come out of their shops not with amusement, but with anger. They think it's a joke that's gone too far. They start throwing things at him, pots, pans, vegetables. They call him a liar. They tell him he's untrustworthy. Every word is a dagger.
This sequence is genuinely hard to read. You feel his desperation. He's pleading with them, trying to break through the persona he himself created. And then one of them delivers the killing blow. An old shopkeeper looks him in the eye and says it's a shame. He says if only he were a trustworthy man, like Klahadore.
Oof, that line is a gut punch. It's a tactical nuke of dramatic irony. They are literally using the villain's name as the standard for honesty, while condemning the one person telling them the truth. In that moment, Usopp doesn't just lose their trust. He's forced to see that they've given that trust to the monster who's coming to kill them. It's a complete and total defeat.
This is the story of the boy who cried wolf, played out as a horror story. He's spent his whole life building this wall of lies to cope with his own loneliness and the fear of his father never returning. It was his defense mechanism. And now that wall has become his prison. He can't get out and no one can help him to get in.
He's completely, utterly alone. His strongest ally is asleep, maybe even dead at the bottom of a cliff. His other 2 crewmates are out of the loop. And his entire town, the people he's desperately trying to protect, have turned on him with contempt. It's just devastating.
Meanwhile, the final pieces are moving into place. Kuro goes down to the other cove to greet his old crew, the Black Cat Pirates, who've been waiting for him for 3 years. The loyalty or fear he commands is immense. The plan is set for dawn.
Back at the mansion, Kaya is asking for Klahadore, and another servant just says he went to the next town on an errand. The illusion of normalcy is perfectly maintained. Everything seems peaceful and routine, while underneath the surface, the fuse is lit and burning short.
And the chapter ends with one last shot. A bit of hope, or at least a stay of execution. down on the beach at the bottom of the cliff, Luffy isn't dead. He's rubber, after all. He's just sound asleep, a little snot bubble inflating and deflating from his nose.
Which is a relief, but it's not a solution. He's still out of the fight. Dawn is coming, the pirates are coming, and the only person who knows and can possibly stop it is a boy that nobody believes.
Super heart-wrenching. This whole sequence is just a masterclass in tension.
It's the first time the stakes have felt this personal and this hopeless for one of our crew. It's not about a treasure map or a dispute between pirates. It's about a home, about protecting the mundane, everyday lives of people who don't even like you very much. And it's the chapter that defines Usopp. Everything he becomes starts right here, in this moment of total failure and isolation. He can't lie his way out. He can't run away. Not really. Not when everything he cares about is on the line. He has to stand and fight, even if he's the only one fighting. This is his crucible.
It really reframes his character. The lies weren't just a funny quirk. They were a shield, born from a deep-seated insecurity and a desire for connection. And now that shield has been shattered, and he has to face the world as himself for the first time. And the world has rejected him. It's a profound moment of growth, forced upon him by the worst circumstances imaginable.
Man, this arc is just so good. It's a perfect small-town thriller inside this grand pirate adventure. Oda shows he can do horror and psychological tension just as well as he can do epic brawls.
The scale is smaller than Orangetown, with Buggy threatening a whole city, but the emotional stakes feel so much higher because it's so intimately tied to one character's psyche.
Absolutely. The way Oda builds the tension here is incredible. You have Kuro's cold, calculating evil, a villain who wins with his mind. You have Django's weird, unpredictable threat, a wild card who could take anyone out of the fight. And you have Usopp's desperate, losing battle for the truth. It all comes together perfectly.
It also establishes a new kind of villain for the East Blue. Morgan was brute force and corrupted authority. Buggy was chaotic ambition and devil fruit gimmickry. Kuro is intelligence. He's a planner, a true mastermind. He doesn't need to be the strongest. He just needs to be the smartest.
That's a great point. He's the first villain Luffy can't just find and punch immediately. The problem isn't Kuro's strength, it's his infiltration. He has to be exposed first. The fight isn't just physical, it's a battle of information and reputation.
Which is a fight Luffy is uniquely unsuited for, as we saw when he just yelled at them. And it's a fight Usopp is perfectly, if tragically, positioned for. He has to undo the damage of his own lies before he can even begin to fight the enemy.
The hero nobody asked for and nobody will believe. It's brilliant. Just tragic and brilliant.
It really is. The pieces are all in motion for a very bloody dawn. I find myself thinking about the name of Kuro's crew, the Black Cat Pirates. Cats are creatures of the night, and their captain is planning an attack at dawn, the moment the night is at its weakest, but just before the sun has truly risen. It's all so thematically tight.
I can't wait to see how he gets out of this. The whole structure is so tight. Every scene builds on the last one, ratcheting up the feeling of dread. From the reveal to the fall to the rejection, it's a constant downward spiral for Usopp.
It makes you think about all the times people have dismissed Usopp. If you've been reading along and found his lying annoying or his cowardice frustrating, this chapter forces you to reconsider. You're put in the villager's shoes. You're forced to confront the idea that maybe you wouldn't have believed him either.
Yeah, you really are. You're forced to see the consequence of it all. It's not just a gag anymore. It's life and death. His character flaw has become the story's primary obstacle.
A powerful theme to explore this early in the story. It shows Oda was thinking about character depth and the consequences of personality traits right from the beginning. Nothing is just a throwaway gag.
This is why we break it down. Every chapter adds another layer. If you're digging into these layers with us, drop a comment and let us know what you think the most heartbreaking moment of this chapter was. For me, it was the villagers praising Klahadore to Usopp's face. Just brutal.
That was definitely it. The perfect, elegant cruelty of Kuro's plan bearing its fruit. All right, predictions for chapter 27. Franky, you're up.
Okay, prediction 1. Usopp isn't going to try to convince the villagers anymore. He's realized that's a lost cause. He's going to try to stop the pirates himself. He'll go to that sloping coastline they mentioned and set up traps. Oil slicks, caltrops, maybe some of his exploding stars. He'll use his wits and trickery because he knows he can't win a straight fight. It's the beginning of his classic fighting style, the brave coward who fights on his own terms.
The slingshot warrior is born from desperation. He can't win with truth, so he'll fight with lies and trickery. I like it.
Prediction 2, Zoro and Nami will find Luffy, they'll wake him up, and he'll be confused about how he got to the bottom of the cliff. Nami will piece together that something is very wrong and will want to grab Luffy and run, seeing the overwhelming danger. But Zoro, hearing the clash of steel from the pirates sharpening their blades in the distance or just smelling a fight, will want to run towards the action, creating a conflict between them about what to do next.
The pragmatist versus the swordsman. The desire for self-preservation versus the thrill of battle. That feels very in character for both of them at this stage.
And my third, super bold prediction, the Usopp pirates, the kids, are going to be the only ones who believe Usopp. They heard him yell at them to run, and they know him better than anyone. They're going to see him setting his traps or preparing to fight, and they'll be his only allies in this whole mess. They'll be the first to truly believe in their captain when it actually matters.
That would be a powerful turn. His lies created a fantasy for them, but his truth will be what makes them brave. Okay, my turn.
Let's hear it.
Prediction 1. Back at the mansion, Kaya is going to start getting suspicious on her own. Klahadore has been her caretaker for 3 years. She knows his routines, his mannerisms, his meticulous nature. His sudden, unexplained errand to another town right before dawn won't sit right with her. Or maybe one of the other servants will mention something he said that contradicts the story. She'll be the one to uncover the first clue from inside the house, proving she's not just a damsel in distress.
I like that. She's not just a damsel to be rescued. She's got agency. She's been cooped up, but she's observant. That fits.
Prediction 2, we're going to get a little more detail on how Kuro faked his execution. My theory is that Django was the key. He didn't just hypnotize a marine. He found a random pirate who looked vaguely like Kuro, maybe even a member of their own crew who drew the short straw, hypnotized him into believing he was the great Captain Kuro, and then they handed him over to the Marines to be publicly executed. That's how the illusion was so perfect, and it adds another layer of horror to Django's abilities.
Whoa, that's dark, and it makes Django way more terrifying. He doesn't just put you to sleep, he can rewrite who you are and send you to your death. Okay, yeah, that feels frighteningly plausible for the world of One Piece.
And for my final prediction, Nami is going to see the Black Cat Pirates' ship docked in the Hidden Cove. And while Usopp is fighting for his life and Zoro is looking for a battle, Nami is going to be formulating a plan to steal their ship and all their treasure. The crisis will, in her mind, be a perfect opportunity for a heist. If these pirates are going to attack the village, the least they can do is leave their valuables behind for her.
Classic Nami. The village is about to be wiped off the map and she's seeing a business opportunity. You absolutely love to see it. That is 100% something she would do.
Everyone plays their part.
That they do. And with that, the stage is set for a showdown at dawn. We'll be back next time to see if the sun rises on Syrup Village. Thanks for listening to Inherited Dawn.
We'll see you for the next chapter.